ओके ये जो पॉडकास्ट है ना, ये मेरे लिए लिटरली एक फैन बॉय मोमेंट टाइप का था. Anmol Jamwal of Tried and Refused Production is our guest today. And when I started my YouTube journey ना, तब मैंने अनमोल का चैनल देख के अपना खुद का चैनल स्टार्ट किया था. तो तुम इमेजिन कर सकते हो कि जब एक मेंटोर फिगर या एक फिगर जिसको देख के मैंने यूट्यूब शुरू किया, वो जब मेरे साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन में आया है तो कितना मज़ा आया होगा. बॉलीवुड के बारे में, यूट्यूब पे रिव्यूज़ के बारे में, पेड रिव्यूज़ के बारे में, एक अच्छी आर्ट फॉर्म को देखने के लिए आप कैसे उसको अप्रोच कर सकते हो, अच्छी और बुरी मूवी का फ़र्क, कंट्रोवर्सीज, ड्रामा, बहुत सारी चीज़ें इस पॉडकास्ट में तुमको मिलेंगी जिसको सुनकर तुमको बहुत मज़ा आएगा. आई एम श्योर अनमोल के सारे फैंस को बहुत मज़ा आएगा एंड बॉलीवुड के लवर्स को, टीवी के लवर्स को, वेब सीरीज़ के लवर्स को इस कॉन्वर्जेशन से बहुत मज़ा आएगा. आई थिंक मेरा ये सबसे ज़्यादा बड़ा कोलैब पॉडकास्ट है, उसको कह सकते हो. मेरे को बहुत मज़ा आया. आई एम एब्सोल्युटली सर्टेन कि तुमको भी इस पॉडकास्ट में काफ़ी कुछ मसाला मिलेगा, काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा, काफ़ी कुछ जानने को मिलेगा. सो आई विल नॉट टेक अ लॉट ऑफ योर टाइम एंड विल जस्ट गेट राइट इनटू द कॉन्वर्जेशन. बट बिफोर दैट, इफ यू आर लिसनिंग टू दिस ऑन यूट्यूब, स्पॉटिफाई, जहाँ भी हो, फॉलो करो, सब्सक्राइब करो. हर फ्राइडे नया एपिसोड आता है, प्लेलिस्ट है नीचे, उसको चेकआउट करना. एंड लेट्स जस्ट बिगिन.
Hi guys, my name's Anmol Jamwal. I go with the name Jammy Pants, and I work on a channel called Tried and Refused Productions. Mainly do Indian film content videos, mostly range from analytical videos and movie review videos. So that's me. That's been most of my experience since the past 3 or 4 years working in the digital space and primarily focusing on movies. So that's me.
बट अगेन
Yep.
जो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन जो आता है ना, whenever I tell someone or someone watches your videos, question is कि why don't you show your face in your videos?
Okay, so it's been a transitionary phase. Also, what happened was that initially what was working was that I was writing a lot, and the activity on the channel was such that what you're doing right now, when I was basically uploading every day. And at that point of time, what was happening was that it was easier for me to write a script, do a narration, do a voiceover, and upload immediately. Because at that point of time, even activity was a bit barren on YouTube. So I was trying to tap into just increasing activity as much as possible. So just to keep on going, it became sort of a process where I was writing, doing the voiceover uploading, writing voiceover uploading. So in that process, it became something where it was second nature. The thing about coming on camera and everything became a thing only like 2019 or 2018, late 2018, where I started thinking about it. But it's still something that I have to come to terms with. My sort of like sense of self-image and all of that, it's still a bit shaky, conscious or whatever. I've been a performance artist my entire life. I've been on stage basically since I was 7 years old. But there's something extremely vulnerable about what you're doing, basically. Coming in front of camera, looking like shit, must have just fucking woken up and doing something, and you're like, fuck it, content is content. So my sense of sort of, I guess, self-image has really made me hesitant to come in front of camera a lot of the times. But the plan is in the future to do it properly and really make sure that, the channel only doesn't have the voice as its USP, and that I become more of a personality, definitely.
I can understand and relate to it because to be fair, voice se na, when you are not looking at a face and you're just listening to a voice, you connect better. That is what I have experienced. But giving a face to your content on YouTube, which is basically a platform where you come to connect with the creator, it helps. That's been my experience कि अगर सामने बंदे की शक्ल में देख पा रहा हूँ, I would connect to him better. And I also used to
But
do
I'll
this.
tell you,
Yeah, go ahead.
Vedant, also there's a weird fascination for me to have certain amount of anonymity. It's anonymity. Okay, where I see a lot of these public social media guys, and I've interacted with a lot of them, and there is too much scrutiny, bro.
Yeah.
the biggest guys, they get judged on a daily too much to the point where it's not about their content anymore, and it's about how much weight they've gained, how they're looking, an assessment of how they must be doing in life now because they look a bit bloated, or the guy hasn't shaved for like a week, or he isn't doing that well for himself. So and I think in that process, what it definitely when you're coming in front of camera, it catapults your social media following 10 times more, 100%. But what happens also is a lot of the times, what I've noticed with creators like, at least in my space, which is the English movie review space, which is Anupama Chopra and Rajiv Masand, they get scrutinized so much on everything except their content, how they're looking, what they're doing. So in that process, a lot of what they're saying, nobody really cares about that. A lot of it of how they're presented gets judged. So I understand that from a business point of view that it's essential, but from a personal point of view, I like the balance of maybe sometimes coming for a choreography sequence on my channel and not tell anyone about it and just randomly land up in front of camera, and still having that, listen, I'm going to do my voiceover, you can judge me on my opinion, but don't judge me because मेरे बाल अच्छे से नहीं बने हुए और मैं थोड़ा अलग सा लग रहा हूँ.
Okay, bringing me back to the dance choreography wala thing. When I first started watching your channel, I don't remember how long ago, but it's been long. My first क्या कहते हैं reaction was ये क्या combination है dance और movie reviews का. How did that come to it? I'm sure a lot of people must have had this reaction. कि why is this person doing dance
The thing
routines
is,
and movie reviews?
See, one thing I've also realized is that if personality channels on YouTube can basically do everything under the sky, nobody should be restricted. Okay, I understand that specialization is very important, that everyone comes for movie stuff on your channel. Okay. First of all, I have nothing to gain from posting my choreography videos on YouTube other than maybe a few subscribers who come in through those videos. Yeah. But since 5th grade, I've been performing on stage and doing choreographies. And if I want to maybe once a month just post a video of me doing a choreography, I don't see there's a big problem with it.
No.
So in this process, what's happened is, yes, it does come across as a bit off-putting in terms of consistency in content, where you're like doing listicles and analytical videos and suddenly I do a dhime dance routine. But it's because, I've danced all my life. So it's just sharing something that I'm passionate about, just that.
So that is what I exactly meant. It's not about कि content में consistency नहीं है. It's about being, how do I say it, brave enough to put what you like doing and what the audience like to listening, and in the middle of all of that, you put your dance and stuff, which is good. I actually like that point. By the way, there are hundreds of review channels. But the only reason I connected with yours was because of the dance thing. कि अच्छा कुछ अलग है.
Because I'll tell you, because what happens is, it initially started off as just doing choreography videos. But at that point in time, obviously, we weren't making money. But the moment I started doing like movie stuff and all, I remember there was a good period of about 4 to 5 months where I didn't upload a dance video. And then the entire audience was like, what the fuck is this? We didn't sign up for this and all of that. But even from a business point of view, Vedant, there are a lot of audiences that gravitate towards your channel, then explore your movie content, and they're like, I'm glad that your dance video got me to your actual content. Yeah. So, I understand that from a PR point of view, these dance videos do really well with production companies and everything. But because it's something that I'm passionate about, it's sort of become a good amalgamation of both. Where if there's a tune that I really like and I just dance to it, if even a video gets over 1 lakh views, somehow the engagement of it and more people coming into the channel, it doesn't harm me. Yeah. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Plus, it also makes up for the lack of you putting a face in your review videos. It helps the audience connect with your personality.
I guess that's the biggest gripe people have about me. It's like, साले तू dance करने आ जाता है, वो शक्ल नहीं दिखाता.
No, but it actually is a good point. It's actually a good way to balance it out, because I understand the point about being self-conscious, about having a self-image, and then putting that out
You know,
into the mass.
I'm also not trying to act like a bichara, be like, "Arey yaar, I have poor self-image and all of that." But what I'm saying is that, it very few people have that confidence.
When I started making these reviews voiceover वाले ही, because I had initially invested in a good mic कि नहीं मैं तो सिर्फ voiceover videos ही बनाऊंगा, because they are more fun to edit.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%.
They are more fun to edit, and then I was like कि then I started going for कि ठीक है फटाफट मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ इसमें थोड़ी editing कम हो, because I used to go to my office and then शाम को आके you just don't get the strength to put out 6 hours into an edit. When you have a face cam, you can
Yeah,
cut that time by half at least. So that's how I started. Okay,
yeah.
coming back to, not coming back, coming around to the main topic. How and where does your love for Bollywood and movies come from?
What's happened is that my family are all corporate job people. My mother's into marketing, my father's into engineering, and they got a guy who had a lot of energy for some reason, and they were like, they need to channelize this energy somewhere. So they were like, listen, just land up for a dance class and think about it there. Maybe you'll be a little tired when you come back home, so that'll be a good solution. So what happened was maybe when I was 7, got into my first dance class, and they were doing a combination of both Hindi as well as English music. And music was my introduction to films. My mom and dad would maybe once a month go to a movie, and sometimes you would get the privilege to sit inside the theater. Otherwise, they were like, no, 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 these things aren't for you. But I remember because of listening to, I remember my first theatrical experience was Josh in 1999. And that was an adaptation of West Side Story being done in the Indian context. And the entire film was a musical, and it was basically rival gangs dancing against each other and getting into fights. And because I had that sort of like dance background and I was constantly listening to indie music, then my interest towards the visual medium started. And I now what happened was, because your English medium school and everyone has to act sophisticated, uh, a lot of these dance performances would be on English music.
Yeah.
A lot of like Grease and Chicago and a lot of these musicals from the States, we would adapt them and do it on stage. So somehow my first introduction to Bollywood really interested me on what we had in India rather than the constant things that I was performing on stage. So that made me really dwell and introspect that why do we keep on performing these jazz musicals and these complex choreographies about the States while we have so much over here. So that dichotomy always existed within me. In that form of curiosity, I started doing musical theater. I started doing a lot of like performances on stage, so much so that I borderline became obsessed with it. So slowly and steadily, what my mom and dad would see was that I was only watching like Hindi interviews on loop. I would constantly watch celebrities promoting their things with journalists. And I specifically remember that 2003 was the turning point. I might be like 9 years old, and that's when Ishq Wish came out. And that was Shahid Kapoor's debut film. And that was when like I was like, this is my jam. Like performing, dancing, the world of filmmaking, like this is the thing that I'm absolutely obsessed with. So I guess from an early age, just doing musical theater and dancing on stage and listening to that music, getting fascinated from the visual medium, I think it stayed for like 25 years now.
And how did that turn into reviewing? And
so I'll tell you, mainly curiosity first. Curiosity was the year 2013, so when I was doing my first year of college. And at that point of time, the Indian market was extremely barren. And this was the time where a lot of these personality channels were doing well in the States, which was Shane Dawson, Joey Graceffa, and all of these like personality channels. But I never wanted to be that. And this was also the time where I was watching Chris Tuckman and Jeremy Jahns.
Oh yeah, I love those guys.
So those two are my favorite guys when it comes to like English film content. And this was before Screen Junkies got into the controversy. Pre-Screen Junkies controversy was, I loved their thing called Movie Fights, which was they would create hypothetical situations and four individuals from different companies would battle it out in a debate.
Yeah.
So that process really made me think that why is it that we haven't tapped into that market of analyzing our own films, because we have films that started from 1939, bro. It blew my mind that in the digital space nobody was really discussing films. And what was happening was I slowly saw that no one's even talking about the problematic things about our industry, which is plagiarism, which is sexism, which is several other things. So I was like, okay, what's the most palatable way of presenting your opinion? So the most palatable way of presenting your opinion was listicles at that point of time, where you do top 10s and top 5s, which attracts an audience to click on the video, but you can present your opinion in the video. So when they've come for something concrete rather than just a generic list.
Yeah.
So that was my way of like getting the audience initially, but my interest was only on the basis that nobody was talking about it. And you know, with all due respect to Anupama Chopra and Rajiv Masand, they've been in the industry for 20-25 years. But they've never, in the digital space at least, they've never created an atmosphere where, you know, people can really discuss films amongst each other. It's always been like, you know, reviews, and that's my opinion. So I wanted to create a sort of atmosphere where I present my opinion and the subscribers also can have a sort of Discord in the comments or whatever. And then it helps me introspect about my own decisions. There are a lot of the times you have a particular opinion about a film and you're like, there has to be something that you're not connecting with. Why is it that so many people connected with it and you aren't? So it's and that's also another situation altogether, huh? When you don't like a film that everyone likes, screwed.
No, I think this happened with me. I don't know around Comicstan. I think this happened with me. I reviewed Comicstan and I did not like Comicstan
That you didn't like the show.
I did not like Comicstan at all. And at that point I was like under 5,000 subs. तो मुझे पता भी नहीं था कि वीडियो ब्लो अप हो जाएगी. उस टाइम मुझे लगता था ठीक है 2-3 हज़ार व्यूज आ जाएंगे, 2 ही 10-15 लोग जो होते हैं उनसे कमेंट्स में डिस्कशन होगा. And that video blew up. मतलब blew up in the sense for that purpose 40-50 हज़ार व्यूज is a blow up. और that was my first interaction with the fact कि हाँ people can disagree with your opinion on YouTube as well. तुम्हारी ओपिनियन हमेशा लोग मानते नहीं हैं. That was a very big learning experience.
But Vedant, I'll tell you, movies at least is a very small percentage of the vitriol or the galis that content creators get.
Yeah.
I think the worst is political commentators.
Yes.
If you look at Akash Banerjee, Dhruv Rathi, a lot of the guys on the right also, they get the worst comments. They're constantly trending on Twitter with memes. It's the worst.
Yeah, for that
हमें तो थोड़ी इधर-उधर गाली मिल जाती है.
बहुत कम.
The most galis I've got is after this foreign reaction stuff only, but otherwise it's very limited to opinion. Whereas they get like galis on who they are, what they represent, and it's a really personal digs.
So, like you started around doing the stuff that Jeremy Jahns and Chris Tuckman were doing around the YouTube, around movies. I started around the time जब digital पे ये YouTube पे web series आ रही थी. Because like you said कि कोई movies के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा था. I caught the market कि कोई web series के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा था. So I started reviewing these TVF web series and all of these 4-5 episode के जो ये I don't know if you can even call them web series. They're basically 5
pictures,
sketches.
right?
I think I started with web Sacred Games. क्योंकि जब मैंने Sacred Games पे रिव्यू बनाया था,
Okay,
people
okay.
were not reviewing Sacred Games for some reason. It was, I think, one of the
Yeah.
first or second web series जो आई भी थी. But which
Yeah,
brings
yeah,
me
yeah.
to my point that you have this experience of watching all of these films, so you have had your share of watching good and bad movies and TV shows, right? How does
Hmm.
one as a normal viewer जिसको review नहीं देखना, वो खुद कैसे differentiate कर सकता है between a good and a bad movie, TV show, web series?
That's scary. There's been so many surprises. Like, I'll tell you, honest opinion is, I would have never thought that Asur would become what it became. Okay? So when that happened, I was like, my sort of judgment in looking at a show, even in its trailer or what it represents, goes out of the picture because my judgment of the show was completely off. And then, so it's tricky, bro, because it's as unpredictable as actors. The reason why actors get cold feet or get anxiety before their movies, before the weekend, is because the audience reaction is so unexpected, bro. Shahid Kapoor never expected Kabir Singh to do 300 crores. He's never had a 100 crore movie, bro. It reached 300 crores. He would have never expected in his life. So, um, one thing for sure is the director. If the director has a great filmography, you can always expect something new. Whenever at least when it comes to my favorite director, say my favorite genre is the thriller genre. I know whenever Sriram Rangwans is going to come with a movie, it's going to be something different. Even when he's ambitious with his projects and gets a little overindulgent with the movie like Agent Vinod, it's still something different.
Yeah.
But I've always noticed according to the actor in the lead role. Because there are sometimes people surprise you so hard, you're like, what happened there? Like when this one, nobody expected Vicky Donor in 2012 to be the sensation that it was, bro. Ayushman was still the roadies guy at that time. So, it's weird, bro. See, I know when it comes to comedies is the worst. आपको पता है कि पिक्चर गंदी होने वाली है बट 200 करोड़ बनाएगी वो पिक्चर. ये शो शॉट होता है. If Akshay Kumar is in a movie which is a franchise movie or it's a sort of just, it's a mad camp comedy, it's going to do 200 crores. You might not like it,
But it's gonna do.
but it's going to do that business. So I don't know, bro. Bro, Vedant, especially web series, the market has become so saturated. So saturated. There are so many shows every week. I don't even know what to think anymore, yeah.
So exactly, that is
Abhi
my
this Patal
question.
Lok finished.
Yeah.
And people are telling me watch Illegal on Voot. So I'm like, when did this even come? I don't even remember when it came.
So Voot
So,
पे I watched this the Riker case अभी आया था Voot पे. I just happened to watch it.
Yeah.
मुझे लगा अरे तो अच्छा है, ये तो पता भी नहीं चलते shows कहाँ से आ जाते. That is the problem. I was having this chat with Naveen Kasturia अभी. He also said the same thing कि जब हमने pitches किया था तब हमें भी नहीं पता था कि web series space इतना बड़ा हो जाएगा. But at this point, web series also have become like the Bollywood thing. वेब सीरीज में भी स्टार के नाम के ऊपर या फिर एक रिकग्नाइजेबल फेस के ऊपर वेब सीरीज बिकने लगी है. दे बीइंग डन विद द इंटेंट कि सबसे ज़्यादा व्यूज़ कौन लेके आएगा. एंड दैट आई थिंक इज द रीजन दैट द वेब सीरीज स्पेस हैज बिकम सो सैचुरेटेड बिकॉज इट्स वेरी ईजी फॉर एनी वन टू मेक अ वेब सीरीज रिगार्डलेस ऑफ कि वो कंटेंट अच्छा है या नहीं है, स्टोरी अच्छी है या नहीं है. ये शुरुआत यूट्यूब से हुई है. यूट्यूब पे कितने लोगों ने चैनल्स बना के वेब सीरीज बना दी है 5-5, 8-8 एपिसोड की. And they're calling them web series for whatever reason because they are on YouTube and they have so many episodes. That is the problem. There's so much to choose from and web series used to be the space जहाँ पे तुम्हें पता था कि हाँ थोड़ा probably out of the mainstream content मिलेगा, but it's also becoming mainstream now. So which was the whole point कि
Bro,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe it's a controversial opinion. The opinion is, but bro, who's cracked it, business-wise, is Ekta Kapoor.
Oh yeah.
What she has done is, I will sell Saas Bahu stories on TV, but I will sell sex online. So Alt Balaji, that way, like, it's so crazy that it falls under the same company and they have such polar opposite shows.
True.
So, and there's a market for it. The
There
crazy
is.
part is there's a market for it. Like people, bro, if you go through Reddit, a lot of these subreddits or that objectify actors and actresses, they're all alt Balaji stills. They're all alt Balaji stills, and you're like, wow, I didn't know it was that intense. And then there's another app which I'm doing a video on soon, which is just sex, bro. It's just sex.
I know what you're
It's
talking
just,
about. I know what you're talking about.
na, it rhymes with Bullu.
There's another one. There's
So
another one
yeah,
that produces these like literal softcore pawns in the name of web series. It rhymes with pot shot.
yeah, bro, it's insane. And it's, bro, like वो pirated shop में CD वाली shop होती थी ना, इतने सारे show हैं उनके.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like row after row, and you're like, what?
But that is the extreme, मतलब एकदम ही extreme जो web series
Yeah,
के bits
yeah,
देखे.
that's the other extreme. Yeah, for
No,
sure.
but the जो बाकी 20
But
का बचता है उसमें भी बहुत confusion है. There's so much to watch. There's so much to
yeah,
choose
man.
from. And I think that is where people depend or rely upon creators like me and you and a few others.
Yeah, man. Because, but that also then becomes dicey with this whole thing of people saying that people are getting paid for their reviews.
But people are. People
Uh,
are. It's not a lie that people aren't getting paid for these reviews. I mean, it's only natural. अगर तुम्हारे पे एक ऑडियंस है और तुम टीवी शोज के बारे में बात कर रहे हो तो इट्स ऑफ कोर्स नेचुरल कि कोई टीवी शो बनाने वाला तुम पे आएगा कि हमसे पैसे लो हमारे शो के बारे में अच्छा रिव्यू कर दो.
Bro, I'm not denying that I get several of those emails. I'm sure you also do. I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone does. But I'm saying it's about your integrity, whether you're going to. If someone's like, please give me your commercials for 2 videos on an honest opinion of a show, it's sketchy.
It is. It is.
So if someone says yes for it, creates a thumbnail, says good shit about that show, it's like, I don't know.
But then
That's like
how does
disingenuous to another level.
but here's the truth. ये होगा. इसको कोई मना नहीं कर सकता है. हम नहीं करेंगे तो कोई और करेगा.
हाँ,
But how
करने दो. The point is never.
how does the
यार,
audience then
you
figure
know,
out? Audience के साथ तो धोखा हो ही रहा है ultimately.
यार eventually पता चल जाएगा.
Hmm.
अभी I won't take the name of the person, but somebody created a video like saying that all of these guys have created the same thumbnail for a particular show that they
Yeah.
were paid
Yeah.
for. Okay, the same thumbnail with the same statement in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know that. I know.
now if that doesn't come across as okay, all of them have been paid some amount,
Hmm.
then you make the conscious decision of believing them the next time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a point where you have to give credit to the viewer also to, but bro, you can make out what's a paid review.
Yeah.
When so, and also you can make out if it's a paid review if you see the consistency of their upload.
Hmm.
If the consistency is really rampant when it comes to web series, it becomes a bit sketchy because then you haven't really spent the time of really analyzing the show and writing about it.
Hmm.
So because you've been told the response for the show, then this was my biggest issue with. So I would go with a notepad to the cinema hall or would go with whatever, right, before I watch the movie. Whenever I have read a review before going for the movie,
Hmm.
my opinion has always either mirrored that same opinion or
Yeah.
had remnants of that. Okay, so your objective opinion completely goes out of the window because it still mimics what you've already read.
Hmm.
So when a person's told you positive response, then while you're watching the show, you'll still look away from the negative things. If the CGI is a bit dodgy, you'll be like, ah, theek hai, it's manageable. Because that positive response will keep on echoing.
Yeah.
So, that objective opinion completely goes out of the window. And I think the audience will eventually be like, अच्छा ये फर्जी आदमी है, ये सही आदमी है.
No, but I did start getting this question, ठीक है? I'll tell you a बिल्कुल polar opposite side of this. So I started getting this question कि तू जिस भी अपने शो के बारे में तू बात करता है अपने चैनल पे, why do you always say good things about them? I've started getting this question, and my opinion is कि मैं shows बहुत सारे देखता हूँ. I see good shows and I see bad shows as well. I don't want to talk about bad shows. I only want to give good shows to you. And now I'm thinking कि मतलब eventually this will start sounding sketchy, but that is the truth. कि I only talk about things that I find good. So now what does the audience think? Audience तो ये भी सोच सकती है कि हाँ ये तो paid reviews ही करता है. For example, I did do this sponsored thing for an independent documentary maker. I watched a
Okay.
documentary on, he made a political documentary. And he was like कि मेरे को कोई mainstream बंदा इसको review नहीं करेगा. Because आम आदमी पार्टी के अगेंस्ट डॉक्यूमेंट्री है वो. एंड वो दिल्ली में रिलीज करना चाह रहे थे उसको.
Oh, I keep on getting tweets for this. I know what you're talking about.
या एंड इट्स अ गुड डॉक्यूमेंट्री. आई सेड कि ठीक है, मैं देखता हूँ, अगर मेरे को अच्छी लगेगी देन आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट, एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट इट यू पे मी अ स्पेसिफाइड अमाउंट बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स आई एम गिविंग यू स्पेस ऑन माय चैनल. सो दैट इज हाउ दैट इंटरेक्शन वेंट. एंड पर्सनली I don't think there is anything wrong in that interaction, but the audience will never be able to figure out कि ये interaction honest था या फर्जी था. That is the thin line here that we are talking about.
It's dicey, bro. It's dicey because what happens is that good that you come from a sense of okay, I am promoting something that might not get that much exposure, so that comes from a good place. But what's happened in this process is a lot of it has like jumbled together, where even see, if you're only talking about good things, that's great. What I've realized from all of this content creation also is that negativity sells like hotcakes in the Indian market. Okay,
I know.
If you're talking about something that's horrible, there will be more views on it.
Yeah.
If you're talking about something that is amazing, they'll be like, "ठीक है यार."
अच्छा है, ठीक है.
You know, so the thing is that no matter how much you really promote something that's great, it'll only do this much.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's your decision to be like, okay, I'm gonna accept money for reviews, or I'm gonna shit on things that are shitty. I think you should shit on things that are shitty and you should promote things that are amazing. Both, but my concept is to never, even if it's like an indie artist, never like accept it. That's mine. That's my thing. So it's dicey also, yaar. You also need bloody to bread and butter, and then people are going to judge you for accepting any amount for anything. अगर तूने कोई company का, see, also integration is the toughest. Okay, at least you're a commentary channel that does everything under the umbrella.
Yeah.
So your integration can still be easy.
Yeah.
See, I just do movies. So my integration of some random company will make no sense in my analytical video, you know? Oh, guys, like I once did a Cash Karo ad. And I'm like, this sounds so weird. Me advertising this product while I'm talking about how, Saho is going to be the biggest film of next year. I'm like, the integration doesn't make any sense. So that's also a thing where it's difficult to comprehend what's right, what's morally right or wrong. But Vedant, you will never satisfy everyone.
That is what I was coming
किसी ना किसी को प्रॉब्लम होगी, कभी नहीं होने वाला कि सब खुश होंगे.
That is what I was coming to, कि ultimately अगर सामने 100 लोग हैं तो अगर 50 खुश हुए तो 50 दुखी भी है. Ultimately it is upon you as an individual what you feel about it and what works for you. But the other
100%,
the other aspect of this is that there are now so many of these movie reviews channel. There are so many of these web series review channel. Every person can just sit in front of the camera and talk about them without having the knowledge or without even having watched. क्योंकि बहुत आसान है, गूगल पे जाओ, गूगल रिव्यूज देखो, लाइक लोगों ने खुद अपनी ओपिनियन दे रखी है, उसको देख के तुम कॉपी कर सकते हो. एंड इट्स वेरी एविडेंट एज अ क्रिएटर कि मुझे पता है कि मेरे को मूवी देखता हूँ, मैं क्या क्या चीजें पकड़ता हूँ. बट फॉर द ऑडियंस इट्स नॉट एविडेंट. Then how does one build that trust?
I'll tell you, Vedant, तू लिख के ले ले. A lot of the Hindi reviewers, Hindi language reviewers will reach 1 million subscribers in less than a year.
Yeah.
A lot of them that are growing right now will reach 1 million subscribers because that language has that penetration into the market. ठीक है? If they have zero knowledge of cinema, they're still going to reach there. Now the point is, always, at least my opinion is, you stand out because of a particular reason, because you have an opinion that's original to you and you have nuance. फर्जी लोगों का eventually stagnation हो जाएगा. Fraud business कुछ ही देर तक चला सकते हो यार, फिर eventually people catch on to you because you don't have that level of providing layers in your argument. You know, तुम 10 web series, 10 ये, 10 वो, 10 वो, 20 ये, तुम recommend करते रहो, then people will eat it up. But when it comes to actual topics in movies which create national debates, people will see you falter. So you will stand out against them. When you have a nuanced opinion about boys' locker room, you stand out compared to the other guys who are just giving gal. I've always said this. Never be conscious of the subscriber base in the sense, don't be ignorant of it. But always have that mindset that you're one, improving, and secondly, people are coming to you because they want to know your opinion, not because the thumbnail was attractive. It's because Vedant has an opinion about a particular thing, that's why I want to tune in, not because Ritviz is on the thing, thumbnail. You have an opinion, that's why I want to listen to you. That's very important. A lot of these channels work just because of attractive thumbnails and because it's in Hindi. That nuanced opinion, bro, later nahi chalta itni der.
So I think that is the one bright light amongst all of this convolution of paid reviews about Hindi channels. Ki at the end, in the long term, people who are real will stand out regardless of कि तुम कितने subscribers हैं, कितने तुम्हारे views आते हैं, कितने तुमने thumbnail बना लिए हैं. No, but I think for the audience also this will become a good segue into the fact कि good content you will figure out. You'll have that subconscious feeling कि हाँ ये content अच्छा है और ये content अच्छा नहीं है, and this creator I can trust.
I'm telling
and
you,
this creator I can't trust. I think this is also because...
And see, Vedant, there's a reason why you've entered a saturated market. You've entered at a time where there are many players and you're standing out. There's a reason because people gravitate towards your opinion. It's not because of your thumbnails. It's because people gravitate towards you. People standing out and having that longevity is only because of that thing, not because, marketing अच्छी है.
Okay, ठीक है, बड़ा थोड़ा ideological discussion हो गया. What for your personal YouTube channel, what gets you more engagement, or what you personally prefer? Bollywood, Hollywood, web series, और कुछ बचा नहीं? हाँ.
So I'll tell you that, as I said previously, if Dabangg 3 comes out and I create a thumbnail which says Salman please stop, it gets more engagement. Okay. If I say Andhadhun, okay, I say Andhadhun is amazing and my thumbnail is totally worth it, people are going to be like theek hai yaar. So that Andhadhun video will get a minimum 1,000 views, but that Houseful 4 video, that Dabangg 3 video of me shitting on it will get over 500,000 views. So people want, I don't know what it is, but people really want to know how bad the product is. So I don't understand that, but in terms of writing, I'll tell you, I hate what it has become today, the market. See, I had the privilege only in the last 6 months to go for press shows where I have time to write, create a good structured opinion. But when you don't have press shows, you have the morning of Friday 8 a.m. that you go for the first show. And you're creating that structured opinion while you're watching the movie. So it takes away from, that viewing experience and the anxiety of writing your structured opinion. And then more anxiety because it's all about who puts the opinion first. It's all about सबसे पहले वीडियो कौन डालेगा. उस भागा दौड़ी में लिखो, एडिट करो, पोस्ट करो. and then you're like, oh, that's why I hated Fridays. Morning 8 a.m. लिख के और फिर you want create the perfect thumbnail, all of that. So that used to be a lot of like 4 5 hours of anxiety. That's why I like web series where you can sit, chill, write, create your opinion, and then उसमें भी है वैसे हाँ कि कौन सबसे पहले
I
डालेगा.
agree, I agree. And
But in that process, you don't even realize sometimes you judge it too fast. And you don't really let it sit with you. There are a lot of films that take that time to sink in, take that time to have that layered opinion about it. Like I remember watching Tamasha, and that time I wasn't doing movie review. Like, bro, this movie really hit me, so I want to create a video on it. Whereas if when Tamasha released, everyone shat on it.
Yeah.
क्या बकवास, क्या ज्ञान दे रहा है हमें यार, corporate सही तो है, क्या तू बता रहा है हमें, तू बताएगा. So all of that gets a little weird. So I guess web series is the most comfortable, but movies get the most anxiety. Because that thing of putting it out first, it's also the problem with news also. On Twitter, people are just waiting for who gets the best meme out there or who gets the best thing first out there. It's weird, man.
This is the exact reason why I've stopped doing movie reviews. क्योंकि एक तो for Friday anxiety plus I'm already 4.5 hours behind India. तो जब तक मैं मूवी देख के मूवी के बारे में बात करूंगा तब तक ऑलरेडी उस पर सारी वीडियोस जिनकी आनी होंगी वो आ चुकी होंगी and I'll not
Bro,
get any
yeah.
views. Which is why I've specifically moved into...
unless you have something extremely unique to say.
Yeah.
You know? It doesn't really stand out when you mimic the same opinion of people praising the film. That also becomes another marketing thing. मेरा late opinion आएगा पर मैं कुछ हटके से बोलूंगा ताकि और नंबर आए.
I think this happened.
It's weird,
this
bro.
happened recently with my 4 More Shots Please का review. Like otherwise I was just talking about these shows जो मैंने देखते थे. जैसे Never Have I Ever मैंने देखा, मेरे को अच्छा लगा. I just talked about it आराम से. And 4 More Shots Please के around I had some opinions जो मेरे को नहीं पसंद आई, कुछ चीज़ें मेरे को बहुत अच्छी लगी. And I talked about them and then that video did well. But for example, I posted...
It's renewed for season 3.
They'll keep making it. There's a market for it. But that's not the point. The point is
exactly.
that web series, again, are very comfortable. Like, but again, this happened with Patal Lok as well. जब तक मैंने पताल लोक देखा, जब तक मैंने उसके बारे में ओपिनियन बनाया, जब तक मैंने वीडियो बनाया, तब तक सब लोग उस पर ऑलरेडी वीडियो डाल चुके थे. But that is one advantage that you get with web series, that still not everyone is doing web series के around reviews and analysis.
Yeah.
तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा वो चल जाता है. But again.
No, it's interesting, man. And also, my biggest thing is the last year and a half, not year and a half, maybe 2 years is the sense of polarizing opinions that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the films represent the current times we live in. And in that process, either it's a right-wing propaganda or it's a left-wing propaganda. So your opinion of liking or hating it makes you either a liberando or a bhakt.
Yeah.
So there is no in between.
There's no in between.
If you're in between, you're a cop-out. You don't stand for anything. But if you stand for one thing, you're that. If you stand for the other thing, you're that. So it's a weird time, bro, because you can easily get labeled into certain sections, and then that becomes your identity.
And you can't even
और अगर तेरा अलग opinion, then to it's like that's your branding now. Some people are full on propagating that agenda.
Yeah.
But a person who's really trying to be like, is this show interesting? He doesn't even get that opportunity, because it's like, अबे तुझे तो पसंद ही नहीं आई होगी, तू है ही liberando, तू है ही liberal, तू है ही भक्त. So it's scary, bro.
I think it happened अभी ये इसके पताल लोक and 4 More Shots के साथ भी हुआ. But again, there's an entire different argument कि the shows do this because they know they'll get eyeballs around this specific content. But that is the entire thing, which brings me to my next interesting question. Why is it that people have to rely on the reviewer's opinion to pick or like opinion mirror करने की क्या जरूरत है? Why don't people experience the art for themselves? Like, I know कि ये objective opinion बनाना बहुत मुश्किल होता है.
See, See, this is the same thing that I had where I was trying to create a process of why reaction channels are popular, or why do we want to hear the opinion that we know ourselves. There is a sense of confirmation bias where there's a sense of अच्छा लगता है जब कोई ना अपना सेम ओपिनियन मुझे ही बताएगा. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा हूँ मैं मिरर में, पर कोई जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट देता है ना, लगता है हाँ ग्रेट. So when a person who maybe has a particular subscriber base is mimicking exactly the things that you were thinking when you were watching the movie, it makes you think, oh, this person really aligns with me when it comes to the way he imbibes content. So leave reaction channels aside. When it comes to movies, when I really like a movie that didn't do well, there's an entire audience that comes out of the woodworks and they're like, we always thought this. We just never understood why it didn't do well. So having, I think that sense of community of, oh, we think the same way. So maybe this person will have, because he's going to present me a non-spoiler review, maybe he can get me ready for what I'm ready to expect,
Okay,
so it's also an opinion which is extremely informed, which is not the majority. A majority audience will not go into the theater listening to my ज्ञान. जब भी मैं वो सिनेमाटोग्राफी के बारे में बोलूंगा, वो कहेगा चुप कर यार, स्टोरी अच्छी है कि नहीं बता, हाँ मुझे ये नहीं बता, हाँ. So that way it's still a very small audience that really wants to see what the review is. And I guess so, that sense of community really comes with that. And if somebody just knows how to articulate themselves, which I think you do very well, so in that process what's happened is a lot of people can't formulate the sentence properly, but it's in their head. So when somebody says it in the exact words that they were thinking, they're like, okay, this guy is something that I can back. So I feel like it's a sense of that, a bit of confirmation bias where the movie is good, but you want to listen to someone else, and that, in previous history, this person's sort of had the same tastes as me. So that sticks.
No, I agree with
and
that.
A lot of it is when they're big budget films, like Tanaji and Uri and PM Narendra Modi, कि इससे क्या बोलना है. अगर इसने कुछ बोला तो that also.
Yeah, that's true. No, but I especially agree to that point कि people tend to gravitate towards people who have a way of articulating themselves because वो खुद वो thoughts express नहीं कर पाते हैं. I specifically agree to that because it happened with the Ritviz case with me. It happened with the this abhi boys locker room wala thing, and it has happened time and again. And people seem to,
because people have so much anger. They don't really know how to say it in words. But when somebody articulates what they the same opinion that they have, then they comment on your video that I agree with it, and then expand on it.
But
so I guess it's a little bit of
the
both.
flip side to this is that it gives a certain sense of power in the hands of creators like us. Like we have the power to flip opinions, flip people's minds. How do you handle?
It's scary, bro, because you can either flip opinions or you can really piss off some people.
Yeah.
So if you piss them off, they're gonna fucking go after you. So it's a. But my motto has always been, and I think I definitely think it's yours also because I see your content here and there, is never be scared of calling something that you find problematic. Never find yourself hesitant to call out something that's problematic. It's your opinion. You will always provide an opinion piece. This is not fact. You're not a judge. You're not telling someone to go hang themselves. You're telling your opinion of what you find problematic, say in the YouTube ecosystem or something that you find problematic. Anybody can counter you. Anyone can counter you. But the fact that someone should be silenced should never be the opinion. कि तू चुप कर, तुझे कुछ बोलना नहीं चाहिए, which becomes a lot of the times कि साले तू कौन है, and all of that. I'm so, it's good that you're through that path, because we live in a time where objectivity is sadly not there.
That's true. I agree with that. But okay, back to you personally. Do you ever think you should, like you've talked about it, you want to come into the FACECAM and commentary scene? Do you plan to do that anytime soon, or you want to continue this? Like, what's next for you on YouTube and you in your business life?
I like the space that I'm in. It's been fruitful and fun and nice. The commentary space now, it gets a bit scary, bro. So my entire thing about the whole YouTube ecosystem thing is that all opinions should be online. All opinions, and it should be open for discussion and criticism. The point that something should be removed because it doesn't suit your sensibilities becomes a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Then something else will be created which doesn't meet another faction's sensibilities, and they're like, wo bhi nikalo, ye bhi ban karo, wo bhi ban karo. Then it's weird, bro.
Which brings me to another interesting point. Why do you stick with English content? Is it because English pays more?
I'll tell you. देख, मैं अभी normally हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ, मैं ऐसे ही करते रहूँगा, और फिर the problem is, I'll tell you, for ISC schools, you stop reading and writing in Hindi in 8th grade. Sorry, in 10th grade, okay?
Yeah, we do.
In 10th grade in ISC schools, you stop reading and writing in Hindi in 10th grade.
Unless you
and
choose
then what
to.
happens is,
I think hota hai Hindi. If you want to take Hindi, then you can.
Which is, say my batch has 120 people. I went to boarding school in Dehradun, okay?
10 out of them.
And there's one person who took Hindi.
Yeah.
Okay, for their 12th.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened is, I'm not trying to justify it, but what I'm saying is, you go away from the text so much. There is so much distance created from 11th grade to the point you turn 25, that you realize how much of the vocabulary completely is gone out of your head.
Yeah.
So, in normal conversations, everything flows. But when you want to articulate your thoughts and read and write in Hindi, you realize what you were in 8th, 10th grade, you were so well versed in that language. But because, education, I guess, and the way it's structured is everything's in English, and you stray so far away from Hindi. So what happened was that I realized that whenever I'm watching a piece of content, everything is happening in English, because in the last 6 years, that's the only way I read and wrote. And I said that, I have to really track back and understand reading and writing in Hindi is so important now.
Yeah.
In the last 3 months, 4 months especially, I've really started to read and write in Hindi, because it creates also Hindi literature in itself. There is so much which can translate into such good stories. It's insane to me. And you read and write in English so much that you completely get disconnected from this world. It's only in the last 3 or 4 months that I've revisited everything and been like, it's highly ignorant of me to be like, I'm going to stick to English and review Hindi content, and that's going to be it. Having both and being well versed in both has become an essential thing, especially to thrive and coexist in the film industry. I realized, being in Bombay for the last year and a half, you interact with the Nasruddin Shah ever, okay? I had the opportunity to sit with him for a while. Bro, the man is well versed in Shakespeare as much as he is with Ghalib. He is as good speaking in Urdu as he is in English. And that kind of, it's only because they're well read.
Yeah.
And our detachment really led us to sadly become really inept at the Hindi language, and I'm one of them. you know, I can speak really well in Hindi, but articulating your thoughts the way you're feeling it, you realize you become really disconnected from it. And I find myself using synonyms and, really searching for Hindi translations. But it's really helped the last 3 or 4 months where I can revisit the language and really get so well versed that, you know, can start producing Hindi content as well. I realize you don't even realize and you trade completely the opposite direction.
And I think that is the
So that's what
truth. That's
happens.
the truth because a lot of people who even converse in Hindi, they're not speaking Hindi. They're speaking a mix of Hindi, English, and Urdu.
Yeah,
असली हिंदी तो किसी को
yeah,
पता ही नहीं है. Like even today when I go
yeah,
back to read my favorite प्रेमचंद novels, मुझे रियलाइज होता है कि मैंने वो इतने टाइम पहले पढ़ी थी कि अब मेरे को उनको समझने में टाइम लग रहा है बिकॉज द
yeah,
लैंग्वेज दैट दे
bro.
यूज वेरी डिफिकल्ट, मतलब वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द वे वी कन्वर्स इन हिंदी. एंड आई एग्री विद द पॉइंट वो
Yeah, man.
आईएससी और हिंदी वाला. आई रिमेंबर 10th क्लास के बाद हिंदी नहीं पढ़ी एंड देन यू स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग इन इंग्लिश एंड देन सो पीपल स्टार्टेड कमिंग आफ्टर मी कि या तुम इंग्लिश में अपने अपने वीडियोस को तुम या तो पूरा हिंदी में रखा करो या पूरा इंग्लिश में रखा करो. एंड लाइक ब्रो मैं पिछले 10 महीने से मैं लंदन में रह रहा हूँ. मेरी नॉर्मल भाषा में इंग्लिश निकलता है. जितनी मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ हिंदी बनाने की, it's like a conscious effort to put out that language and speak in that language, and it's very difficult. But you're right, people should be.
Bro, and also I'll tell you it's a sad reality also. When you go to these privileged schools or whatever,
Mm.
it's looked down upon, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
When you
It's true.
start interacting in Hindi and you're cursing in Hindi, you
Mm.
sense of don't integrate well with the cool circles.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, I have to detach from this completely, which is such shallow thinking. And having a mixture of both is the best thing we can have, bro.
Yeah.
If you're well versed in Hindi and English, you tap into a population of 1.4 billion and the world.
Yeah.
So that kind of power very few people have because most of the world is not bilingual like us. So,
Not at all.
having that power is huge. And I feel like I only realized it in the last year or so where I had really separated myself. So, yeah, I agree.
And that is why you've started putting tids and bits of Hindi in your reviews.
Yeah, but bro, that's the best is that, this is the point of introducing it.
Yeah.
That I'm making a consistent effort to really hone my craft of understanding the language in and out again, sort of like re-engineering yourself the way you were since primary school. And it's so sad that you turn 26 and you're like, अच्छा
वो भी था.
fourth grade से जैसे पढ़ते आ रहे हैं वैसे करते हैं.
Yeah.
And so it slowly gets there. I'm sure it'll get there.
You don't cover a lot of Hollywood movies, do you?
I don't. It's only been when Joker came out, when Avengers came out, and all of that. I genuinely thought, what happened was that first of all, a lot of the international movie releases used to come maybe 2 weeks later. A lot of the international movie releases won't have one worldwide release.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's only the big budget releases that would have that one date, so everyone can put in their word later at the same time. But what happened was, I genuinely, it's a misconception, 100% was of the opinion that if Jeremy Jahns and Chris Stuckman are talking about Star Wars, why the hell would people care about my opinion?
Yeah.
Right? That was my opinion. It's only because I look up to them. And in that process, you're like, no, people do care about your opinion. When people are recommending you to review Parasite, they want to know your opinion. Because it also creates a layer of an Indian's opinion of an international film. So that's one thing I slowly realized also, that I should be integrating way more. The thing is also, Vedant, it's also tricky because that dichotomy of chasing numbers and not chasing numbers will always remain.
Yeah.
तुम जितने भी social service वाले बन जाओ या जितने भी capitalist बन जाओ, that will always remain. And I find myself extremely guilty of being like, the Hindi content is working, the movie reviews are working, so let's stick to it. Why would anybody care about my opinion on an English movie. And the worst of the lot, which I keep on checking myself that I never become like this, but I do find myself, is that, when a video is released and it doesn't perform well, I don't like seeing it on the channel.
Oh.
I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. And then you have to rethink and being like, dude, why did you create that? You created it because you had a particular liking for the film. You wanted people to know about something that maybe many people weren't talking about.
Yeah.
So when your motivation is driven by numbers, now you almost find yourself sometimes like, 1 second, you like movies. This number shouldn't matter. So that processing also made me think, if I'm really passionate about something, even if it's like a Mexican, Iranian, bloody any movie, you should just upload it.
Yeah.
If you have an opinion and you really want to tell people, irrespective of it not performing, you should make it.
Okay, one final
So, yeah.
question around, like, how do you routine yourself to watch all of this stuff? Like, you have to watch a lot of stuff. You have to talk about a lot of stuff. How does your routine work?
So I am a full systems guy. I might be considered anal to a lot of people, but system hai. Every day I watch something new, and I read and write something new. So I work on a strict schedule of like I work from 11 to 6 p.m. Okay, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So I'll usually upload 3 to 4 videos in a week. So every day that makes me either every day is reading something new for at least an hour and watching something new. Now what happens is what to watch, because it has to correlate to your next video.
Yeah, of course.
Now that's tricky because if I decide on a Tuesday that I'm going to watch a Raikar case and I don't like it, then I have to rethink, what to do for tomorrow. So how I sort of plan the channel is that on a Sunday, when I'm a chutti for everything, I create the schedule for the week.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm going to say on a Monday revisit Mahabharat and create an outline for that, and check out Roma, which is a Mexican film.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to create a context for myself in terms of visual treatment. Then Tuesday will be another thing. So it's only that every day, my strict schedule is 11 to 6. I watch something new and read something new. That's the only thing. Because if in that one day, 24 hours, there isn't a consistent effort to gather new information, then you'll stagnate.
Yeah.
So my only thing is read something new, watch something new every day, at least for me, because the content is that. And then accordingly design your entire week on a Sunday. Now in this process, working out, eating well, gets here and there. But this is the process in terms of what the content is at least.
No, but it's good to have a routine. I've also learned this, that routine, सबको पता है कि routine अच्छी चीज है. Follow करना ही थोड़ा difficult हो जाता है.
Bro, writing it down and holding yourself accountable is especially because you're a content creator.
Yeah.
You set your schedule. You're accountable for your performance.
Yeah.
Your AdSense revenue in a month is dependent on your productivity.
Yeah.
So, when everything's dependent on you, there is a sense of discipline that you have to bring.
So, you write your script properly, like you write down every word, or you write bullet points? Because I personally note down bullet points. I've had this experience ever since I was in 6th grade. I don't need a script to articulate. I can just have these 5 points and I can talk about them for like 15-20 minutes aram se. But that's me. How about you?
So when it's narration, then it's like to the point. I will literally like write down each and every word like a proper script with a screenplay of like how it has to go. But I've realized that because of the podcast that I was launching about 3 months ago, I was really craving improv, conversations like this with you. because everything's off the cuff and you're discussing basically everything under the sky.
Yeah.
So that process also builds another muscle in your brain where you can be well versed in several topics like as it's going. So that sense of like stiffness doesn't stay because you're constantly writing scripts and narrating those same scripts. Then these off the cuff conversations become a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So having the balance of both becomes, I think, is the best thing.
Okay,
I don't know.
which brings me to another good point. What are your opinions on this theater versus OTT thing?
Bro, my opinion is the same as Zoya Akhtar's, which is that theaters will never go.
Exactly, that's what I feel as
If
well.
you are going to release a Shamshera with Sanjay Dutt and Ranbir Kapoor, bro, the stake of their margins is so large that by just selling an OTT, selling your rights to an OTT platform will recover a sliver of their budget.
Yeah.
They're literally thinking about making over 400, 500 crores. Now, what happens with the cinema viewing is that the margins are exponentially higher. If a secret superstar, which is made on, say, 10 or 15 crore budget, does over 500 crores worldwide, it's because of a theatrical release.
Yeah.
So, and Amir Khan really likes a 500 crore revenue rather than just selling it to an OTT platform. So that big budget thing will never go. And then again, Tanaji. When Tanaji becomes the biggest release of 2020, it's because the theatrical release happened. So these big films will never go on OTT because their stakes are too high. Yeah?
And not just these stakes. I mean, stakes is a very valid point. But you can't just emulate the theater experience on your mobile, laptop, or even a home theater screen. I remember when the Fast and Furious 8 came out, मैं दिल्ली में था उस टाइम एंड मेरे घर के पास एक बहुत अच्छा रिक्लाइनर वाला थिएटर है. At midnight, I went alone to watch that movie. I bought a tub of popcorn. I bought a bunch of cold drinks. थिएटर लिटरली खाली, थिएटर में होंगे 15-20 लोग. एंड वो एक्सपीरियंस मैं अगर अभी भी चला लेता हूँ अपने आईपैड पे, अपने फ़ोन पे, वो मेरे को नहीं मिलेगा. दैट एक्सपीरियंस आई कैन ओनली गेट इन अ
नहीं होगा
थिएटर.
Bro, I still remember watching Kabir Singh in a packed theater in Noida. Okay? And when that background score was blaring in that theater and everyone was like shouting, you were like, nobody can replicate this same atmosphere.
You can't.
So it's something that will never go. Especially in India, bro. North India, if you look at Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, the way they react to their big star movies in single screen theaters, nobody can replicate that, bro. Allu Arjun का जब गाना play करता है ना, ऐसे पागलों की तरह नाचते हैं ना लोग, bro. Nobody can replicate that.
And that is exactly what I feel, that even if you release all of the movies on OTT, people will still go to theaters to watch a movie because it's quite literally an escape from reality, and people love escaping from
100%.
reality. And that was the conversation, guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast with the Anmol Jamwal from Pride and Refuse Production. उसके सारे handles वगैरह सब नीचे होंगे. Make sure you follow, subscribe, जो करना तुम्हें करो. And remember, हर Friday को नया episode आता है podcast का. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcast या जहाँ भी तुम दे सकते हो. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.